for... Oh, maybe it's working for YouTube now? Should be working for YouTube now. It says it's live. Has got a picture, great, okay. I was concerned that I wasn't able to get my YouTube stream working, which would have been pretty sad. Let me quickly check that my mic's on the correct one as well. I've got my filters on. Yeah, it's on the right one. It's a bit weird. I thought I had problems with it, but it turns out I don't. That's good. I'm just going to quickly grab the link to that. Grab the link. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I need to send it to the student as well. Okay, I send the Twitch. They're going to look on YouTube if they want to. It's up to them. Yo, what's up? Okay. Office Phoenix double flash is fine. I might open my Valorant as well real quick. I'm just going to close it here and open Valorant in the background. I might have to. It might tab me out, but we'll see. I'm good, thank you. Are you? Just fast forward it. So the peak here was pretty. Yeah, it was a bit lazy because if someone's on the right side, you probably die. Might have to just quickly turn off my Valorant in a second, but hopefully we can see my epic pen. We can't see my epic pen. Okay, let me fix that. My epic pen is a lot worse on this PC than it was on my old one. My old one was so much easier to use. It might just be that I had settings on that I don't remember. But it feels less responsive on this PC. On my new one. It's a bit of a shame. I don't know what I've just pressed. Oh Jesus, there we go. Okay, what am I doing? I'm no saying on not Discord, on Val. I'm gonna quickly mute that, and then we're going to grab my epic pen. Epic pen display 1. Hey, what's up? It's still not showing. Let me quickly see if I can fix it. Does it know which surface? Wait, do I know? Wait, which display is it? Maybe it thinks it's not the correct display. Don't really know how to fix this if it's not doing it, which is really annoying. Okay, just not fancying doing it. The toolbar. I mean, the toolbar is useless. That's the toolbar. It's useless. For some reason, I can't. It's not even displaying my mouse either. It might just be. I might need to really quickly do a setting here. Can I do filters on it? I can, right? Can I do effect filters? Can I do a color key? It might be something that. Let me really quickly fix it because I do want. Because Epic Pen is really important for me to get things to work. I like for me to explain things. I'm so excited for Champs 25. Yeah, it looks really, really good. The bundle and also the games. The games look insane. I didn't know you did coaching. What rank you do? I've done coaching up until Radiant. So I've done up to Radiant coaching. Me personally, I've peaked at Immortal 3. But I've coached a Radiant player or two before. They were part of a team though, so it's like it wasn't really necessarily individual coaching, even though I did comment on their individual play. It wasn't like full on Radiant coaching. Immortal 3 in that case, but like Radiant for teams I've coached in the past. Let me see if I can fix it. So Epic Pen on OBS. Okay, I'm gonna mute the video real quick though. Probably mute all the guys' explanation. I'm just gonna yoink what he's actually putting on the page. Oh, I'm pretty sure I've seen this guy before. Oh, okay, wait, he's on the settings of Epic Pen. What was he doing? Sorry, I don't really like to fix things on stream, but didn't expect my Epic Pen not to work. So it's put on the correct display. Wait. Oh, it's capture method. Is it just Windows 7 and up? Is that the reason why? Is it the right display? I don't know which display is which is the problem as well. Like I don't know. There's three. I've got three displays, so I don't know which display it's taking. I don't know which one is one. Oh wait. Okay, now you can see that. If you do that, then you just can't straight up see it. Oh, wait, you can? Okay, nice. It just fixed itself, I think, or something. I actually have a concern, though, if I enable Valorant to be visible, real quick. If I enable Valorant to be visible. So if I type into Valorant. Sorry. There's Valorant. And then if I go back onto this, I'll hide Valorant. And I try and... yeah, it's not working. Okay, I don't know why it does that. It is a bit of a problem. Is something I need to book, or how does it work? Because of this act, I jumped from Plat to Immortal, and now I reached a gap that I'd like to get out of. Unfortunately, my bot's not here, so unfortunately, my exclamation mark code didn't work. Let me really quickly grab Discord link. That should take you to the Discord, and then you can submit a VOD in the VOD submission, and that's how it works. Let me really quickly see what this guy does to fix it, because for me it's not working. I didn't expect it to not work. Wait, hang on, wait, he did use chroma key, no? Or color key? Yeah, he used the color key. Color key of black. Yeah, I thought it would be something like that. Let me do a color key for my Epic Pen. Epic Pen properties, not properties, filters, effects, color key, okay, custom color, black. Okay. I mean, you could see my... why can you... okay, so you can't really see my... you're like stuck looking at my... that's so weird. I don't know why it's doing it. That's so annoying. I think it needs to do no capture cursor as well on it, to be fair, but not working either. I don't really know how I'm gonna fix it then, because the thing that I did last time doesn't work. I done my other PC, so this isn't good. I maybe I'll skip too much. Hang on. Do you want on settings? He's talking about hotkeys there, I think. Then he adds the source, which is Epic Pen. The other thing is it could be the wrong display, but I know that's not true because it was working at some point, just like before I went on Valorant. So we changed it from automatic to Windows 10. Windows 10 is not very good for me. So it doesn't work. And then you added a color key of black. Because what that would do is that would color key the black background out of what the display shows. Let me just quickly like refresh the display. I'm just gonna do that into that. So now you just can't see the pen now. You can see my cursor, but you just can't see the pen. Okay. A bit now. Okay. I think it will still break if I go on to Valorant. So maybe I just need to go on Valorant at the end, like I would normally do it. But that's kind of annoying. Okay. Okay, enough faffing. Enough faffing. I'll just have to live with it for now. Okay. So the first thing I want to bring up is this here. We're not really ready for this angle. We kind of just ignore the fact that it exists. Also might. We kind of just ignore the fact that it exists. And then we just like peek this angle. And we don't necessarily peek this correctly in my opinion. It's a bit too low. Like I would think head height is about here, right? They're a bit too low. And on top of that as well, I would expect them to be peeking like over here somewhere if they were peeking this angle. But usually people don't do that instantly in a round. They usually wait like 5 seconds to peek this type of angle. Otherwise, and they would also not peek it instantly. They would peek it like this, and then they would peek it like this. Or sometimes they would do like this, but sometimes, you know, sometimes they wouldn't do this one because it would be too risky, or they would like show themselves first to this player. So they don't do that first. They would just do this. But yeah, so what I would say is we don't really need to pre-aim this necessarily. This is actually a more important pre-aim for us as we go around this corner. And this, we just, if we want to do it, with this cross, we would do this, right? We'll just do that. Is it much better there? We do need to check close, that's fine. The crosshair as well, once again here. We're not really aiming at anything, we're just kind of... The crosshairs in the wall. Angle here, angle... There's a guy here. Angle here, right? So if these players were good, like, you're deadlock are dead, probably. You're dead to this gecko. Realistically. And a lot of it's to do with the crosshairs being in the wall. I think the crosshairs basically mainly been in the wall so far. In this first little clip. Okay. I understand like the reason why you're looking around and things, but honestly you should just be not caring what these people are doing. You just don't care. It doesn't matter. If they want to plant the spike, they want to plant the spike. If they don't, they don't. The main thing about planting the spike in this situation is that if they feel safe enough to plant it, they'll plant it. So you just need to try and hold angles and fight things, and like just be holding stuff and taking fights and winning fights. So, and in this fight as well, if we have a look, we kind of put ourselves in such a bad position with our crosshair, like we're like aiming at the floor, right? That we don't really have a good way of killing. Like we're not really going to kill this guy. It's gonna be hard for us to kill this guy because I have to correct so much. And your actual like movement and shooting here, like the aim is, in my opinion, more off than the movement. The movement is fine. I think you can get away with it. I think the movement here, like up until this point, was fine. But I think there we become a lot more stutter-steppy, and we're not really like that movement doesn't do anything on the enemy screen, so it's kind of useless. And it's just, if anything, it just makes us more inaccurate for no reason. So if you want to move. If you want to shoot, but don't do both at the same time, like this. The aim is more of the problem there, because I mean, also I would like to also make sure you put on your shooting error graph here, because it clearly would be useful here to know. Exactly like how inaccurate we're going to be, especially if, you know, from my point of view, like it can be fine. Like I can break down the video a lot more and find out really specifically. But if you're like just VOD yourself, being as efficient as possible, the shooting graph just tells you that stuff instantly. So really important for you to just put on shooting graph. It's like no cost, and you get a lot. It's a lot easier to VOD review your stuff, or just like look back at like a clip of like a death or something to tell you what went wrong in that fight, basically. Okay, and he was definitely aim there. more so than the movement, because you can see there, aim there, and then we've over flicked. Sorry, I don't know. My controls there doesn't work if I've got like cursor on, and it used to work if I had cursor on. I'm not used to it. But yeah, you can see like your crosshairs all over the place. Very rarely on the enemy's head. And when it's over the enemy's head, it's in motion. Like you're dragging it over the enemy's head, and you're not ever shooting while it's on the enemy's head. Your round is kind of banning you into this round, I think. Once again, don't really like the way you've cleared that. Technically, they could have been on anywhere on this wall, right? Because I don't think, as far as I'm aware, Deadlock hadn't checked this yet. Like, she didn't move out of the lamps. She didn't. So they can be anywhere across this wall. They could also have technically been heaven as well. You could have just died instantly. So it also is not a very good position that way as well. But even if we're going to go and peek this, we should have just been scanning this. Our crosshair should have been against the corner over here like this. And if I tab into Valorant, I'll show you what I mean. There's Valorant. And I've got with this, when the display is on, it's like when my display is on for actually I'm gonna go and practice because I think it'd be just less taxing on my machine. When my Epic Pen is on, I have all three displays as well that are also open. That's just how it functions, unfortunately. I pressed the wrong person, Sage. So what I mean by that is, say if they've got the box in front of you like this, right? Whoever we had, Ghost. So if you've got the box in front of us like this, then instead of doing what we did like this, right? What I want you to do is do something like this. Where if you see someone across the wall, then you can just shoot them, right? If we get bots involved as well, oh my god. The wall in the worst place possible. If we get the bots involved as well, right? Put the wall like this. Then instead of doing like this and then we see someone and then we have to like flick like this, right? To like try and get the kill. Instead of that, we can just simply scan, and if we see someone, we're just like, our crosshair's already there, right? Our crosshair's already on the head height. Already on head height in the open, so when we see someone, it should be an easy kill, right? Let me see if my Epic Pen decides to break. If it decides to break, fine, I'll just leave it, but I need it broken. Okay, I need to fix it somewhere. If my Epic Pen's broken, so I'm actually just going to close it, because I can't use it, so I'll just close it. I'll just close it. I don't have Epic Pen, but that's fine. I could try, maybe I could try something else. I'll have a fix. I'll fix it after the stream, maybe. Right after the stream, so I know it's fixed. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, if we just take our crosshair out of the wall and we put it more onto like in the open, like going around the corner, then we're gonna have an easier time on that type of kill. This is like mouse control. It's also a 3v2, 3v1, sorry, 3v1 in a second, 3v1. So we don't really need to be rushing at this person and taking this kill because we've got 3 people alive. We don't no rush to try and take this kill. They have to defuse. There's 3 of you alive. You might as well just take like a crossfire or something like that, right? Or just like peek with each other, like call for like to all peek short together or something. Or like even just wait for your teammate to aggress first and swing off their contact. Like that kind of stuff can also work. So it's just, yeah, try not to take those fights alone when you're in a 3v1. I literally just did a video actually on my previous coaching session about 2v1ing and like how to think about 2v1s like in a really basic way. And that video is pretty useful for like for the same reason as well of this 3v1. It's the same sort of premise anyway. So you can I would recommend go watching that video. That was a lot better overall, despite you not getting the kill anyway. This was a lot better, but one thing I would change is I wouldn't swing so wide. And you can see as well, there's like 2 things. You swing very wide, and your crosshair's ready for this wide. I can't Epic Pen. My brain is so intertwined with Epic Pen on my coaching session. But you can see that here, like your crosshair's like in the wall. And so you're ready for like a deeper swing. So as a result, you kind of skip all these angles. You're skipping all these angles that you know that Jet could be on. So you're kind of just like your crosshairs in the wall, so you're not ready to shoot this person, right? That's number one. The second thing as well is that because we're so wide swing, we also open ourselves up to too many other angles, right? We're opening ourselves up to this angle as well. And I guess you could technically argue something over here, but probably not. It's mainly this angle that you're opening yourself up to, which is not very good, right? We don't want to be opening ourselves up to essentially a high-low situation. So that kind of gave us a disadvantage in that fight by just wide swinging too much. And then I've also noticed that this is happening. This happened on pistol as well. Your crosshair was initially good here. You can see like it was initially quite good. It did get a bit worse as you walked around the corner again. Because you did like a crouch here, I think. You did like a mini crouch. And then as soon as you saw the gecko, you overaimed. So usually overaiming like this off of reaction is one of two things. Either you are like you got scared that someone was on the screen and you felt really high pressured in that moment, or you have like really high sensitivity. And you're trying to flick to that person, but more often than not, if you're already on the person, because you're already on the person, and then you flick, it makes me think that it's just that you were surprised by the gecko being there. So maybe it's something to do with that, with being like highly pressured to get the kill. That's what I'm thinking for that. That's a good kill. I would argue like you too far up here. You can also tell with the classic. You like think about what gun you have, right? Bulldog. Oh my god, please. Epic pen. Just work. I'll stop complaining. The Bulldog is a long range weapon. So it's really important for you to be taking like these medium to long range fights. Especially as well if you take into account that the enemy team are gonna have low weapons. Like the only thing that's really going to threaten you at the same range is going to be a sheriff, which is an investment for the enemy team. And because their defense, usually defense don't have sheriffs because they can't plant, so they have less money overall, generally, or they have less access to money, less access to money if they don't get, obviously because they don't have access to planting. So generally, it's going to be harder for them to justify a sheriff on the second round. So yeah, I would just play towards the Bulldog's strength. So next we have the bonus. I don't like the Frenzy. The Frenzy is actually just an awful weapon. Probably the worst weapon in the game, and I don't think it's close. I think that the only time you can ever play Frenzy, and I only know this because of good players talking about it, is that it maybe is usable in like low ping to like no ping settings, so like LAN basically. That's the only time you're going to use the Frenzy. And like I don't know if I agree with that or not because I don't have an opinion on it. But I would not use the Frenzy here. Because if you think about it like right now, right? The situation you found yourself in, would you get this kill with a classic? My answer would be yes. If you would get, would you get this kill with a shorty? Yes. Would you get this kill with a ghost? Yes. Would you get this kill with a sheriff? I mean, maybe. The sheriff obviously, I mean the sheriff and yeah, I mean the sheriff is like a different, like it doesn't want close range generally, the sheriff. So yeah, maybe not with the sheriff. But I think with the ones in its price bracket, right, with like the ghost and the shorty and the classic, these ones, they're going to be the ones that you want to go with here. I would just go with the classic on this round probably, or like I would get like a dropped weapon, ideally. Usually a ghost, could be a sheriff, but I wouldn't really buy a Frenzy. Sometimes the classic is just good enough if you have like the aim to be close range, like even better than the ghost. Even that was a good kill. Good kill, good kill. The only thing on that kill, which by the way, I'm not really too fussed about, is as soon as you see him jump up, like you could argue that you should be starting to walk when you see him, walk left, and then shoot. But I think that it's difficult to justify knowing that you don't know where the person on the right is. So I think you made the right decision by just trying to, I mean, you did like strafe a bit to the right, back into the corner slightly. So I think that's probably the most reasonable. I think you played the most reasonable way possible. Okay, yeah, you just assume there's no one else there. It's a bit risky. Yeah, it's just a bit of a risk to do that. But yeah, I understand why you did it. It's just a bit of a risk to get your life out there because you don't know where the jet is. You know, there's one person behind the blaze wall, but then you've got to keep your gun out. I think if anything, you can probably expect it a tiny bit because Gecko was there, but. Sorry, excuse me. But the Gecko did kind of sacrifice himself, so it is what it is. We ulted. That's just unlucky. So, I say unlucky. It's not that unlucky. The reason why it's not unlucky is this precise reason, right? Is because you can't shoot back while you're peeking something. So, and also I think there's also a level of like, you know, the strategy of when you're close to an angle, you only just start moving, right? So then you're slower when you go past the angle. But if you move back from the angle, like over here somewhere, you're going to be faster around the angle because you're accelerating behind the corner, and then you reach full speed behind the corner, and then you can swing the corner at full speed. This is the perfect time to do it, right? Because you're going to have an animation as well during that acceleration time, or just in general. You can just place it here and then just keep running anyway, to be fair. But yeah, ideally you just want to make sure you use the animation but when you're behind cover, and then when your gun is out, that's when you come around the corner. You can still peek this like normal as well. You don't have to be just running out with the Phoenix ult. It may also be worth as well with the Phoenix ult to take the first level, like to take like the first line. By that I mean, by the first line I mean you literally take up until this box and then you ult from this box. It can be obviously more risky because you can get like wall banged eventually, or like people can run you down potentially if your team isn't there or your team gets wiped very fast. So it is more risky that way, but it shouldn't be that much more of a risk compared to how much. So like you're gonna just inch out a bit more area with your ult. It should help you see more backside and actually take a fight backside probably if you do get that far. I actually don't want the TP, but it's just that Cloves alone. I mean, yeah, I mean it's a bit too hasty to TP maybe. Although I don't mind you thinking about it in that way, right? It's kind of like having like a chamber rendezvous, in the fact that you can just walk into it and live. So I think that it's a good. It was actually maybe a good choice to live, maybe, but Clove is in a really bad position because of it. So yeah, it was good thought process, good thought, but like wrong timing, like the wrong time to put that thought process in, because you kind of just left your teammate alone to die. Yeah, and it's a hard clutch as well because they should expect you to be flank if you take too long, especially. I think as well, did we kind of walked too late, no? Or sorry, too early. Yeah, we walked too early. We can keep running. You can keep running up until like probably like not this corner, but the next corner, like this corner. This is where I expect you to start walking. When the guy lamps can hear you. That's when you start walking. So you did waste a tiny bit of time here. And that could have meant something. We don't exactly know where Gecko was, but maybe it could have meant something that you would have caught his timing instead. But it's a little thing, really. I think the general concept of the round, what you did, wasn't that good. Because I don't think you shouldn't be leaving your teammate there. Okay, so right here, this is the important. This is like the importance of the minimap here. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right here, I'm already spraying this Clove. I'm already trying to spray this Clove through the smoke, because when I look at when I see them on the minimap, it's very easy for me to just like use my crosshair like little pointer thing and just aim it at the Clove. Like I find it really easy to just like minimap spam. With the Sheriff, it's a bit harder, to be fair, than something like a Phantom or a Vandal or something like that. So not exactly expecting you to like hit all the shots and just kill them instantly, but like, yeah, I mean, it should at least be, I think, an attempt made, especially at this point when you know they have a Bucky. I don't think you can push through the smoke, and I also don't think you can let them push through the smoke at you. So I do think you either have to like just chill and wait for the smoke to go down, or like just play more chill, wait for a teammate to come and help you, and find a way to play that out with a teammate, or just start spraying them through the smoke while the Sky has contact with the dog and with themselves. So then you can try and just spray them through the smoke. Don't like this. So the reason why I don't like this is that when your teammates are running up like this, they have like, if you time your peak wrong, then they just die. Well, like the Reyna will just die, and honestly, it's their fault for like jumping up like this, to be fair. But also as well, like bear in mind that the closer that the Reyna gets, the more in like the more in the doorway the angle is, if that makes sense. So they don't have to push out and actually be in your crosshair to actually fight the Reyna in like a couple seconds. In like this second, But the Reyna is peeking so deep that your angle you're on is like pretty useless, right? So I would have walked up at the same time as holding. That's usually what, like you usually you want to do that because it would just help you in general with like timing things and being like close to your teammates when they actually are on new angles that you can then move up and help. Oh, okay. Then you can like move up and help. Like you kind of just wasted like a fair amount of your own time here and then became kind of useless on the angle. This is a rushed fight. I don't know why deadlock didn't help you at all here. They honestly, you got baited quite hard by the deadlock. And maybe by the Clove. I think the Clove can actually see the Yoru right now and somehow it hasn't shot him yet. That's a bit interesting. It's all good. Yes, you got a bit baited here. It is what it is. But I think that the actual gunfight itself was very good. The way we played it, mechanically. Which is what we should focus on anyway. So we're aiming too high. First thing. Aiming way too high. Second thing as well is that we did our micro adjustment and aiming. We did a fair amount of our aiming, to be fair. Like right at this point, I actually don't blame you for like starting to stop here. I can see you starting to stop as soon as you got it on his head. But then you kind of like micro adjusted, or like you just like completely finished aiming. By the time like you actually had stopped, when realistically, like actually to be fair, you stopped a bit. Sorry. To be fair, you would stopped a tiny bit later than what I've said. Oh no, you did stop here. You did stop here, actually. You were just a bit late on the shot, I think. Bit late on the shot, and just didn't track them past the movement. So then you end up shooting at this frame, which looks silly, because you're not really on their head. And then we kind of tracked them. This is aiming and this is like aiming and shooting at the same time. And then I don't mind this reposition, but it just needs to be longer. You were like way too short with this step. The step did nothing for you, but I understand why. It's because you got shot here. As soon as this shot hits you, you just need to plant your feet and shoot. Which maybe is what you were doing here, to be fair. We just kind of missed. It was like this was like an aiming error. I think you were aiming too slow in general there. And usually that's just gonna be fixed by like drills on the just playing more drills, aim labs, like all that kind of stuff, right? It's mechanics. But that's how you're gonna fix it. Usually playing more should help, but it needs to not just be play more mindlessly. It needs to be play more and actually focus on what you need to improve on. A lot of people can get a lot of time in the game and then they're like still like hard stuck in their rank. Like I've seen people with like thousands upon thousands. Like I used to play League. I know someone that has like 10,000 hours plus in League, or like they have a lot of hours on League. Maybe not 10,000 hours, but they have a lot of hours on League. They basically play like all day, every day. And as far as I know, they've never made it past like platinum in that game. And realistically, with that amount of time, like as long as like there were quality hours of learning, they should probably be within like the top ranks of the game, right? Because of that amount of time. That amount of time spent. So it's all about trying to make it's fine to like play a lot, but you need to make sure it's quality time played. That's the most important thing, right? That's the thing. That's also something I hold with real life as well, is that when people say they have like 5 years work experience, it's also very important to know like how much of that was quality work experience, right? Because a lot of people can put themselves on autopilot for 3 years in like the 5 years of that work experience and then claim that 5 years work experience, right? So it's all about quality experience. And oh my god, we just hit a nice shot. It's all about quality experience, so you just need to focus on the correct things when you're actually in games. Like set yourself goals and that kind of stuff. We had a nice flick. I would have known. Actually, I want to know if you're like, are you moving here? Let me see it again. You are moving. Are you moving? I'm pretty sure you're moving there. Yeah, you are. You're actually in the startup of your movement, so you're not quite fully inaccurate, but you are inaccurate there. That is insane. Yeah, you are. You might actually just be accurate, actually. Because you did a stood step here. You did a stood step right here. As you came out, you stopped here. Wait, hang on. I need to see the movement again. The full movement again. Oh, it's close. It's so close, actually. Oh, I think you are moving. Just about. You are like stuttering, so like you didn't quite get as inaccurate as I thought you would be. So you're like that's like low inaccuracy. If you had the shooting graph up, you would have a little bit of blue, and then you would have like yellow after it. That's like hard. It's like you were like just starting out the movement. Nonetheless, your aim was there. At least I'm pretty sure it was. It was pretty close. Like it was on his like right side of his head. Oh no, it wasn't. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah. It was the inaccuracy that got you the kill there. This wasn't on his head. Yeah, I see it. I mean, you know, you'll take those in the game, but we don't really want to be replicating those because, I mean, yeah, because they're not really that replicatable. I'll be honest. It was kind of RNG. RNG just served us a headshot right there. So yeah, that's definitely going to be looking at like aiming and movement. A lot of aiming and movement has been going wrong in this game for us. I mean, in that instance, it went right, I guess, but like, it generally it's wrong in the sense that we not really able to replicate that kill, with the same movement and aim. It is RNG a tiny bit there. This is better. This was better. You did it better this time. Once again, I don't really like you pre-aiming it, right? Because they can be anywhere on the truck. So you're kind of skipping like this angle over here, and if they do take this angle, you'll skip it and have to like swing out away from the angle, which generally you don't want to be doing as much. It was better than last time though, for sure. Crosshair placement's a bit low for anyone that could peek out lamps there. It didn't check the corner, but I understand. To be fair, we had the bird, so you probably know it's. Oh, you know it's free anyway because the ult from Sky. So ignore me. You knew it was free anyway. So you didn't have to check this anyway. You already knew it was free from the Sky. And the Sky flash as well. Also helped to confirm that. Okay. Oh. Okay. So the guy was flashed and you saw him run right. I think here you would just go into the corner. So I'll be very surprised if he just stays truck. You either go into the corner here or you just start running. I think if you see this guy, you either shoot him in this situation. So I would try and wallbang him. If I see this guy right in this frame, I probably would try and wallbang him as he runs out. Like I might react to it. If I don't react to it, then I've got two options. Either wait for him. I might walk into the corner on the right, but I haven't looked at it actually. I don't think that's the right play. I think the right play would have been to either push him instantly, but that would have been difficult to do considering we don't know how many people are around that corner, and that's like the more risky type of play. And we also have the benefit of having Yoru in the ult, so we are in kind of like a 4v3 right now, so it's probably not the best of choices to go running in and die. So it probably would be best to actually just leave the kill. You can also look for like a flash or a molly to kind of help you secure lamps for now, or to take that fight even if you want to flash around, not around this corner but around this corner, and it flashes and pops like on this wall like this and flashes people looking directly into lamps. You could do that as well, because that would stop him from like as soon as he gets one flashed there, like he gets flashed by Sky there, he's still flashed, and then if you flash now, he gets flashed straight at the other flash. He won't turn your flash and you'll probably get a kill. So there's that as well, but that's hard to recognize it. Like maybe I would recognize it, to be honest, but it would be hard to recognize at the time. So unless you play a lot of Phoenix or a lot of like flash agents, it's going to be hard to recognize that at the time. Like flash into flash is a really strong thing to do. It's the reason why Reyna sometimes gets played as well in like higher levels of play. Well, not the only reason, but in like pro games, like the most justifiable thing about Reyna is the fact that Leah makes other flashes really strong. And so you would want to pair them together. So you can like pair the two flashes together because they'll shoot the eye and then get flashed by the thing that's coming in. Because they had to shoot the eye, they would be basically looking at the flash. That's the reason why like Reyna can be sometimes played, and chaining flashes like that can be really strong because they can't see the second one coming, and Reyna obviously amplifies that quite a bit in the way that her flash works. Once again, we're going to make the same mistake, and thankfully we don't get punished for it this time, but realistically, we should be getting punished for that one every time. Against better players, you'll get punished for it every single time. You might even die, actually, here, because she actually shoots you. Oh, she almost shoots you before actually. But I think it's because she's shooting someone behind you, maybe. She's trying to shoot the clove. Yeah, she is. We can just tank some bullets there. We get kind of lucky. That's kind of lucky. That's from backside next to triple. And I think the realistic reason why we got shot here is because think about when you flash, like what angles you're actually going to get. And if you flash left over here, right, you flash like here. Unfortunately, I don't have EpiPen, so I can't really illustrate this very well. But you flash basically in front of the TP. So it's only really going to hit like people that are peeking short from like the lamps area. Or it's going to like flash people that are like specifically on like these type of triple areas or like bench or something. Like it's not really going to, or like someone close. It's not really going to flash anyone in like actual angles that will threaten you when you come out. So if you do it like on the right side of the smoke and flash around this corner to here, it's going to flash people like on these types of angles. It's going to flash people on the deep truck angle that you can't see. It's going to flash people behind triple potentially. It depends on how they're positioned. It's going to flash people heaven. And that's basically all you need to flash. Obviously, honestly, he probably wouldn't have hit the Gecko where he was. He did well to like wallbang you through anyway. But the flash would have been, we still did the wrong flash. There's something we can fix. I don't mind this flash. Good crosshair placement, fair, almost. It was really close. I think you might have moved your... Oh, no, it was close. It was close. It was like just above the head. That should have been a kill if you just like corrected it a tiny bit there. I think we need to do a lot more. I think you need to play some more DMs and focus on crosshair placement. I also think playing more games and like playing like a couple of ranked games and focusing solely on crosshair placement would also be a good idea as well. Not bad. That was a good kill. Let me see that one again. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was a good kill. To be honest, the clove kind of gave it to you a bit by walking. The crouch is also a bit scary because you can see the crouch actually kind of took you off of head height. So if you are crouching like this, you need to make sure you're still maintaining head height with your... Sorry, I keep doing that. You need to make sure you're still maintaining head height with your crosshair. What happened here? Hang on. So I've noticed as well that we are kind of late to rounds in a sense that we... Like, when I say late to rounds... it's usually a good idea to be against the barrier, depending on what you're kind of aiming to do in the round. But the reason why you want to be against the barrier is because you're going to lose time, and the enemy team, if they decide to do something aggressive, or if they decide to do something that's based in time, then you're going to essentially lose. You're going to like have a bigger time deficit of them than them. And that's not me saying that you have to go against the barrier and then be aggressive instantly. That's going to be saying that you should be against the barrier because in the event that they do something that is also time sensitive, you have the most amount of time. That's like you have the most comparable amount of time. So then if they try to peek something, then you're actually going to be there to watch them peek it, or like they want to try and cross, which I'm assuming is going to happen now. We would know about it, right? If they try to cross here, right? We had kind of missed the jet crossing because we went against the barrier and didn't catch the timing correctly. So we kind of just lost time by not being against the barrier. And that's not me saying that, once again, I once again say that we don't have to be against the barrier. And sometimes there's more important things going on. For instance, if we were playing something like Fade, we might have a lineup instead of being against the barrier, like that kind of stuff. And in that sense, Fade, if we have a Fade lineup for like, for instance, like Haunt, usually it's actually when I talk about timings and like catching people on timings and things, usually the recon util is going to be giving you a time advantage because it's going to see things before you would have otherwise seen them. That's also like off the barrier type recon stuff. That's what it does. But usually instead of, I mean, okay, I won't talk about that in depth about recon stuff because that's not what we're doing. So I'll keep on topic. But yeah, that's some stuff with the recon that's really important, and timings, right? As a duelist, it's really important to know that, especially if you play something like Neon. It can be really, really important to know the timings and like be against barrier to know like what timings you're against and that kind of stuff. Especially good as well because you want to learn them as well. So then we don't get them used against us. So it's really, really important as well to be as efficient with your time as possible, to make sure you're against the barrier. and understand, like, yeah, what angles are able to be gone to by enemies and that kind of stuff. It's a bit aggressive, but I like it. I think maybe you could argue just play with the clove, to be honest, to help the clove here. I don't think you have to be that aggressive. I think I would just be chilling behind this box and aiming to play off the clove and while watching lamps. Like, I watch lamps, and then as soon as clove is like in a fight, I'll swing for the clove. That's probably what I would do. But yeah, a difficult round anyway. 3v2. 3v2, it could be difficult to play like that, but sometimes, like, when you're playing off each other like that, you do just win out, and then 2v3 becomes a 2v2, you end up winning that 2v2, so it becomes a 2v1, and then you can start playing for numbers there. Like, so it does end up happening like that, especially in the more chaotic type of rounds, especially in rounds that are like lower elos as well. They can be immensely chaotic, with a lot of people doing random things. So if you can bring a bit of, like, I guess, order to it by playing a bit more off your teammate, then it can be really strong, because you just end up like 2v1ing everyone 1 by 1, so a 2v3 becomes a 2v0 and that kind of stuff, or maybe a 1v0. So like you just end up winning. Yeah, I don't mind you lurking, but this is like the thing with lurking is that it's all about timings and understanding them, and understanding where you can get free kills or like abuse like certain timings to get kills or to get space on the map or that kind of stuff. And right now we have like no info on how they actually play hookah really. Like we know a tiny bit. Like sometimes Clove would play here, but she hasn't played. They haven't played there in a very long time. I feel like it's been like the third round since the fourth round with the bookie or something. So it's been quite a while. It's been like there's been like a lot more rounds going on since then. And we do kind of ignore the most important angle in hookah to check this. So I think maybe we just need to be a bit slower here, or if we are, like just like hold the angle a bit more, and just keep the space, because the thing with lurking as well is that it's all about having like a push and pull and a balance of I need to not die, and I also need to have some sort of presence to actually make me look either big on the map, or I can take space with enemy team knowing type thing, or like that, right? You need to have some sort of like active component to you, but dying is where it becomes really, really bad for you, right? Because then you all of a sudden have given away, as soon as you die, you've given away all the map control that your teammates had over here, so now it's all about them going on A, and that's all they can do, basically, unless they start to play slower again, which, you know, is not always the case, and obviously, like, they've got ways out of it, but realistically, we shouldn't be this aggressive on a lurk, I don't think, in solo queue. Once again, it depends, right? And there's no hard answer there. You can be aggressive on lurks. It just depends on what the enemy team are actually doing and how you can abuse it. There's not really any hard answer there. It's about understanding and adaptation. I need to actually speak. Okay. We're against Barrier that time. I think it's pretty easy to see that when you're against the barrier, right? Oh, I don't like this. Yeah, so once again, I mean, it's more okay in some sense, because you have people. I meant to go to pen again. You have people already watching this, so you don't really need to swing this. They're already there. So what I would do here is I'd be walking up to the corner, and then I could swing off contact. Or I would swing like later on, and I would swing like this more deeper angle slightly. I mean, this is fine, but yeah, the actual swing itself wasn't very good. It was just too late for what your teammates are doing. We didn't quite check that corner, I don't think. Oh no, we did. We did. Your teammates actually ignore that corner, by the way, I'm pretty sure. Kinda. Not really. They're like half checked it with a jump. That's so unlucky. That was a Plat. Yeah, I think also like crosshair placement wise, not very good, right? We're just kind of like looking at the bottom of the truck. I think you are always looking at where the jet is. Maybe you get the kill first. But yeah, you're already looking. You should be looking at the open angle anyway. Like I don't really know why you weren't looking at the open angle rather than the smoke. Now, maybe you thought someone was going to run through the smoke, but even then, your crosshair placement doesn't really back that up. Because if you thought that, then you would probably be looking at either like here head height, or you'd be looking over here. But yeah, okay. I'm not sure if I like the reposition. I think you just go it with Reyna. You should be helping Reyna here, I think. Yeah, that's unlucky. It's not really it's not your fault that they died there, but you should definitely be in helping with Reyna. Maybe you could have been more aggressive outside showers anyway, and help the Reyna. You might get pushed. I think you are getting pushed. Yeah, you are. Oh, the Gecko. The Gecko's feeling it. Yeah, I think you just need to help the Reyna here and go out, because I think the Reyna was struggling to go out there and help her team because she couldn't really get out, because she couldn't really fight anyone. She was like solo 1v1 in the Clove. And if you were there, maybe they could get out and help the rest of your team. Yeah, the Gecko's on one as well. Right here as well. We kind of go to swing the guy, don't we? But I'm pretty sure he's full running there. We can hear him. Yeah, he is. He's full running. So we don't need to swing him, because he's going to swing us. So we can just sit here. We can just stand here and wait for him to come around the corner. And there's two things you can do when you can either pre-fire him off sound, because that's fairly simple. You'd probably see a lot of people do that in DM, and it's really simple to do. Or you can, as soon as you see him or hear him come around the corner, you can just start walking, like counter strafing. Just like instantly start off with movement, and then kill him as he like tries to catch you with tries to catch up with his crosshair, right? With your movement. Those are the two options when you're like holding those types of angles. And the guy kind of knows you're there, but because they know you're there, they're also very loud. So sometimes you can just pre-fire them, but sometimes it's not really that simple. It kind of depends on the situation and what's going on. But yeah, you can definitely pre-fire that guy, and you can also use movement to throw off his pre-aim. I mean, it would say crosshair placement, but we're not really finding anyone in that specific second. Okay, nice. We'll take that. And you got away. Nice. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's fine. Like, I'm happy you didn't just, like, insta-flash, because you kind of let them come up into you, and then they didn't have anywhere to go. They didn't, like, have any cover. I mean, technically she did, because you could have just, like, went to the corner of the box, and maybe she would have actually got away there. But yeah, I think it was better to just wait a tiny bit. I don't like the re-aggression, but we ended up winning it anyway. Maybe it's fine, actually. I think the re-aggression is fine if you don't jump up. I think you just got to flash her in the box. I think if you flash her in the box, it's much more justifiable for the re-aggression. Oh, okay. We were landing shots. That's fine. We are just like, on this one as well, we're doing a thing that we don't really want to do, which is like the over-aim type stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine with the round. I think the re-aggression, as I said, the re-aggression is not that great, considering we do have a flash available to us. We also have a flash available to us after killing the Gecko as well. Like, after we would have flashed this guy and killed him, we also would have had a flash here, so maybe it's arguable to do the same play again. To do a flash around the box and then kill the Gecko, then flash around the box and kill the Clove. That's probably what it would actually look like. But yeah, I think overall it worked out. Wasn't maybe the greatest of ways to play it, but the initial kill was good, at least. So I'm happy with the initial kill. This is a bit too much. Yeah, a bit too much. So, first things first. By the way, Bind Phoenix holds a big place in my heart, because I used to play this. This is one of the first things I did to get Immortal on the very first act of the game. This is one of the first things I did was play Bind Phoenix, and a lot of my strats still work now, with like the way that like you kind of think about it. With he's a very orb hungry agent, so farming orbs is a really good thing to do. So playing B long is actually where I like to play the most, because it's such an easy way for me to farm orbs. And on top of that as well, when I have my ult up, the TP is right there, so I can just use my ult, to go through the TP sometimes, like get fights, and then I will then zip back to B, right? So it's like a really, really strong thing for like map control as well, where I can have presence on A and then still be at B within a certain amount of time. So it's actually really, really strong that to like have your ult up as much as you can on B defense, or like on bind defense towards B. So I would recommend getting the orb there first, like just like hold for stuff here and then get the orb. I wouldn't go aggressive. And this is once again like this is way too much of a commitment. You have a bulldog against like lower guns probably, like sheriffs, and like maybe you'll have like ghosts, or maybe there'll be like a stinger or something. Like you're against like lower guns, right? Maybe a classic. There you go, like a close range weapon. And yeah. It's not really a good idea to go like crazy and try and give them like 1v1s to then go and die to, and then give them that weapon. So I don't really like the play that much. I would have just tried to be farming. I would just farmed up with orb, and then maybe if there's like a call to like fight for it, like your whole team, like, or like maybe one more person. To be fair, Ryan did go for it and just like insta got one tapped, which is pretty insane. Maybe if Rainer was alive, because Rainer did die before you even chose to TP, like quite far away from the TP, right? In fact, I would argue that you actually you actually TP'd here because she died, actually. I think that's actually what the argument is. When realistically, it's actually more of an argument against TPing, because you're essentially going to go into a situation where you have less players to deal with potentially way more players from the enemy team. So you're actually more likely to give away the bulldog because there's less players from your team there. So the reason why you've actually tried to come and help is actually the reason as to not help. Sky should probably not be trying to fight for the gun. Whatever Rainer's dropped, she should probably pick it up and take it, and then take both guns back to site with rapidly dropping them. That's what she should do, and then not care about showers. Like give away showers, just leave it there, or bath, whatever people call it, and sit site. Use the deadlock traps, that kind of stuff. That's what should realistically happen. But yeah. I mean, it worked out, I guess, in your favor. I would say it's arguably more from the enemy team messing up than you making a good play. But yeah, at least we got the kills, I guess, and didn't die. But realistically, it's not the correct play. I don't think. Not very good play. So I don't mind this angle, but the problem is with this angle is that it's really susceptible to flashes. And also Clove is kind of trolling you, but not intentionally. So what you need to do here, because we know better, like when you see people like making positional mistakes like this, right? They're watching like a shallower angle than you are. It's all about communication. If you know that that is like a bad angle for them to take if you want to do this strategy, then you need to be communicating that. And like if you want to do this like pre-round, I'm not sure if we actually decided to do this pre-round, did we? It looks like we did. Yeah, we did. Okay, so if you know that is going, if you know you want to do this pre-round, you need to ask the Clove to watch long for you, like either in like cubby or like this close angle here, like so then you actually have some time to move off of the top of this like container thing before they actually peek you from long. Because right now Clove isn't really providing anything to the team, right, by sitting there. Like the only thing that you can maybe argue is that they can fast rotate to then smoke, but they can still smoke short from this cubby. I'm pretty sure. I know definitely Brim can. I'm not 100% sure about Clove, actually. I haven't played Clove in a very long time on Bind. But I'm pretty sure they can. So, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they can. These smokes are probably very early, but I don't have it. Wait, I'm too busy yapping over the sound. Oh, they smoked. That's the reason why. Okay. So they smoked that. They didn't smoke elbow for some reason. And then you can hear them long. So we got kind of lucky because the enemy team didn't understand what the sound was. Like, and how their sound interacted with like what your decisions are going to be. So you should get a free kill on the planter here, because it sounds like anyway. Oh, never mind. The flash was kind of unlucky for you. The Yori's flashing sight after his teammate has sight, but fair enough, I guess. I mean, they don't really have sight because they don't really have backside. Yeah, so the problems here, those two problems I'm going to bring up, right, is that when you're playing Bind, B site is a horrible one to retake, so generally you don't really want to be trying to like retake this, and especially you don't want to do it 5v5, so you don't really want to be playing like defensively. So usually on Bind, when you're playing the weaker side, so the 2-player instead of the 3-player, usually what you want to do is you both want to be in one of the two lanes, right? So you both want to play hookah or you both want to play long. That's usually what you want to do. You play off each other, hopefully make it something like a 3v3 or like a 3v2 if you're very lucky, like you had a stronger setup or something. Or like sometimes it'll be a 3v4, very unfortunate. Sometimes you won't even get a kill, but they don't. It's just, it is what it is, right? The important thing is, regardless of what the outcome is that you've put more, there's more chance that you're going to have a more positive outcome when it comes to retaking, for your team to retake B. So ideally you want to be taking one of the 2 lanes. The other thing that I want to bring up is specifically with the play you're making is with the bulldog here and this angle. So this angle is actually really strong if the enemy team specifically have no flashes, because they just can't flash you off this angle, and it's a really dangerous angle for the enemy team to then go walk into hookah against. So the problem is that they've got Yoru, Gecko and Reyna, all of which have flashes, and honestly I would say that Gecko and Reyna are probably the most likely ones to flash you here. Yoru probably isn't that likely to flash because he generally doesn't like to go hookah anyway. But he might flash from long, but usually won't do that. I mean, he actually did go hookah, didn't he? Which is funny. But yeah, usually he's not very good in hookah. He like sometimes doesn't mind playing at hookah. Kind of depends on the team composition and also what the plan is and like if he has ult or not and that kind of stuff. Because ult usually is better at hookah. But yeah, it depends on a bunch of different things, whether he'll go there or not. But essentially what it is if they do have flashes, you don't really want to be taking that angle. If they don't have flashes, that's when that angle can be really good. And also it can be good with like Odin as well, because the wall is wall bangable. The wall is like paper thin. So Odin in this angle with no flashes against you can be so oppressive for the enemy team trying to take hookah. But usually I'm always against flashes, so I don't get to use it. But yeah, it is really strong in probably in lower elos where you not really guaranteed to have flashes on your team. And yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate your team kind of got overrun. But yeah, as I mentioned, taking a lane is going to stop that round from looking that way. Usually you won't get overrun backside because you would have already taken like one lane and then fought in that one lane. Sometimes, you know, I'm not saying like fight to the death for that one lane. Like sometimes it can be good, but sometimes you'll fight like 1 or 2 people, then be able to take the lane away from them and make it really hard for them to actually take site fully without getting like flanked. Or you will just take 1 or 2 kills and then retreat back to elbow and then play a positive retake where you're like 5v4, 5v3. Like that will also sometimes happen. And you don't have to be afraid of those situations either. Like those are winnable situations, despite the bomb plant kind of making up for that probably 1-person deficit. It will just make it a lot more equal, especially depending on who you've killed. So it can be quite good to play like that instead of like the way we were just playing it. I'm not sure. I don't like the crosshair placement. We also have no one on B, but it's not really your fault. I mean, it would be nice for you to play B. You're 1 off ult, but you're also eco, so you're expected to kind of get your ult this round anyway by dying. Or by getting a kill than dying, usually, if you got something like a bookie. But yeah. You can maybe argue, like, I mean, no, it probably would be better for you to just get a kill or die on this round rather than just farm the orb. Because you're 1 off. If you were 2 off, then you would probably get the orb. Because you're 1, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I like it. Oh, that's kind of unlucky. Like, the clove kind of trolled you a bit. Oh, I don't really like our pathing. I think kind of unlucky that the clove threw that, but imagine that they didn't. I think you just run backside here. I'm not sure if you molly or not. I think you just flash, right? I think you wall and flash. You just wall, flash, and then try and run close with the bookie. That's what I would do. You could also alternatively, there is a path through the wall. You just have to flash. Like if you know that you're not going to get peeked by like someone backside, which is usually unlikely, so it's not the greatest of pathing. You could try and flash through the wall and try and kill someone through the wall. Problem is there's a lot of corners, so the flash is unlikely to flash everyone that's going to potentially kill you. And there's also hookah, which is outside of your effective range. So yeah, I think I would have just preferred you to just flash out from this corner. Like you do this, cross right, and then flash the corner, so you can go back sight, or not go close back sight off of the flash. That's what I would try and do. But good effort. Your teammates actually end up winning as well, which is great. Okay, insta-ult. Okay, I don't like insta-ults. I don't like insta-ults for a lot of agents, actually. Because there's no reason, usually, to use your ult if you don't have information. Like, it kind of depends on the situation and, like, what the ult actually is. Like, if it's, like, a fade ult, like, it is nice to have information with the fade ult, but it can also be an ult that gives you information. And obviously, that's obviously a thing with this ult as well. It can give you information. But we're playing a duelist and we're also playing solo queue. So we're not really looking at it in the macro sense. We're looking at a more individual performance sense. In that we need to try and carry the game. So our ult is able to get us kills. And you want to be looking at your utility as a sort of like a tool to get, like a bunch of tools to get you kills, right? So if you don't get a kill with your ult, it's not really going to be that good in solo queue to do that. It just doesn't make much sense because you didn't use it to get a kill. You might use it to get information, which eventually that information might lead to kills, but that's way too abstract for solo queue in the way that it usually is played. Usually you just want to try and get kills with your utility very directly, especially in like more lower levels of play. In higher levels of play it can be different, but in lower levels of play you want to be like a 1-to-1 ratio on your abilities getting kills. Yeah, we end up losing the fight. Lose the fight again. Yeah, we just didn't use our util. Once again, like, just talk about how you need to use our util to try and get 1-to-1 kills. We didn't use our util both times. We didn't use a flash here either. And because we ulted instantly as well, like we were getting info with our ult, we don't really have the opportunity to take a fight using our flash or molly or whatever, right? So, yeah, it's just kind of like a wasted opportunity type round where we just kind of use our utility for no reason, with no thought process. And I understand like you maybe want to try and get info, but one of the biggest things in this game, actually, even like the last round, was it the last round with the bulldog? No, it's the round before that, right, with the bulldog. On that round, the reason why you jumped off the container before they actually hit the site is because you heard them coming, right? They put down a smoke and then they advertised that they were there. And that happens a lot in solo queue, to a point where a lot of the time when I play solo queue, and I usually play Sova and things like that, I usually do not insta-recon because I don't need to, usually. Usually the enemy team do a great job on their own of advertising where they're going, basically every single round. So I usually don't need to waste my recon, and I can use it to get wallbang, kills through smokes or wallbangs, all that kind of stuff, right? I can use it to get kills. And that will help me to win the round, more so than giving a recon that we already knew, that, like basically giving me the information, like a confirmation of information, rather than actually giving me actual information that I can actively use. And I'll just quickly ban this bot. Okay. So yeah, that's what I want to say about that, because I think I see a lot of people ask for me to like insta recon stuff, or like insta use utility, like insta use my utility that is going to basically do nothing in comparison to like it's going to do very little, but it's going to give them very little information. Like all it's going to do is show the silhouette to all the footsteps they're hearing, basically, and it's going to do nothing because they're just going to take the direct fight anyway. Like that's what you want to kind of think about with your utility. And with the ult, they're going to advertise, like the Reina probably would have ran up in some capacity in some way and told you that she was there, and then you could have just ulted off that, flash her in the corner, and it would have been so much more of a free kill for you. Then this like more even. If anything, you had a disadvantage in both fights. The reason why you had a disadvantage in both fights is because right here we're kind of just running at them, advertising that we're here. We didn't really know that she was there, so she got the free kill there. You would have heard you exactly where you ran back, and we also once again now don't know where she is, so she can be anywhere on this wall, and of course she's where we're not aiming, so she once again has the advantage because we don't have any info. If we had info, we would have known exactly where she was. I would have killed her very much more easily, because we would have been able to also dump util on her as well. Okay, we're going Bucky again. Okay, walking into the corner. Okay, we're going to try this. I'm okay with this. The only thing I don't like about this is that because you are playing Phoenix, it's going to be difficult for you to get out again. So you are basically going to condemn yourself to a one and done. Potentially. I mean, the Bucky sometimes will decide that it doesn't want to kill the person, so it can be a bit bad sometimes to do with a Bucky. Judge is a lot more likely to be fine. Okay, well that was a fake, thankfully. This should be a free kill. I'm pretty sure if you're communicating it there, that's really good for you. Okay, I can't hear your sound, but if you are saying I have a flank, don't peek hookah or whatever, right? Okay, well that's unlucky. Bro jumped out at hookah instantly. What's Yuri doing? I mean, this is still a flank, right? Because like I said, there's still a flank, so they'll all be on site. At a certain point, she should know. At a certain point, she should know your flank. You can also, right here, you can also silently drop to the box. It is possible to silently drop to this box, but I'm pretty sure you have to make sound on the sand. But I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember if that's the case. Unlucky. Did she know that you were there, or it looked like she actually knew that you were hookah? Yeah, she did eventually realise that you were flank. If you take too much time, they're gonna twig that you're flank. Usually. So maybe if you're a bit more you're a bit more decisive here, and instantly jumped out, maybe you would have had a bit more time to maybe get a gun or get closer to her, jump on the tube and use the bucket to your advantage potentially. So maybe you could have done that. But yeah, kind of unlucky, I guess. I think the play is definitely to get the like as soon as her position is known at this point, you've got to just like send it back sight at her. With like util, right? You have wall, you have flash, you have molly. You can use that to your advantage. You're just too undecisive, and you kind of giving her the information that you're going to be flank. Because you would have went out with your teammates, right? If you were CT, like you would have used util, you would have went out with your teammates. So she, if anything, to be fair, she probably could have twigged at like this point in time, like 5 seconds after, like quicker, like here. She probably would have realized that you were flank. Maybe she checked long right here, weren't there, and then she better to check hookah as he jumped out or something. Like it was definitely along those lines. Okay. Shorty secondary, that's good.
Who's next?
I don't mind this, but you should have knife aim. If you want to not commit to a fight, I can't tell if you're trying to commit or not. I think you were trying to get a kill, like a fight here, but this is like a knife. This is like a shoulder peek. The way they've done it, it's like a shoulder peek. You need a knife out here, if anything. This is a shoulder peek with a knife. But it did look like you were actually trying to get a fight. But if you're trying to do that, what I would do, if you want to actually get a fight here, you should the preemp's fine, but you should be further away from the corner because you're not going to be full speed going in the corner.
Who's next?
You're just not going to be full speed, so you're going to be quite an easy kill on that corner. I mean, it's not too bad because you are quite close to it. But if you want to take the fight, I think you do take steps back there. You don't want to just be like against the corner because you get seen first as well. Especially if someone's on the wider side. If someone's already like past, because they did have the time. If someone's like over here somewhere, then you probably get killed first. Like you'll get seen quite fast. Sky did well there to make it a 3v3. Yeah, I don't think anyone usually takes... That was actually better slicing the pie there, overall, I think. You're just a bit off. Like, it's this corner, then this. And then the next thing would be bench. This is bench. And then the next one would be... You got the correct one. That is that one. So you're almost there. That was good. That was a good try. That was a good try. The wall is good, but I would have curved it. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of unlucky. No, we didn't really. Well, it's unlucky. We didn't really. We just didn't check it. I think you would have curved. Realistically, you should curve the wall like this. Maybe it would have actually pressured the cove to do it like that. The clove that way, but yeah, yeah. We just didn't check. We just didn't check. Wow, your teammates won that. It's crazy. Yeah, just didn't check the corner. Could be aware of where they can be. We weren't there for a very long time, right, with the rotator, so we've got to be careful of like every single close corner. Teammates give us a drop. Yeah, I think I would be trying to play towards... I mean, this is actually fine, because you are basically both like aiming to fight hookah. But this is the problem, right, is that now if they're going long, you're going to die. Yeah, so like that's the problem, right? It's funnily enough, it actually talked about this problem before. And I did kind of advertise it to you if I open up the sound. As soon as you hear that, you can drop. Like, just straight run backwards to the backside, right? And you don't die. Like, fighting it is scary. Because you're just, like, on the top of Narnia. So you're just gonna... Like, if anything, it's a one and done. Like, you might get the first kill because of this surprisingly, like, off angle. And then the second guy just comes and kills you. And it's kind of what happened if you got the first kill on Jets. Like, that would be basically what happened. So yeah, I don't really necessarily mind it, but you need to have the clove looking long. You need someone looking long to make this kind of play, right? Or you need to be very, very convinced that they're not going to go long. And if they do go long, they make a lot of sound early. I need to be like... Or they're going to be like super late. Like they're going to have like a late lurk there instead of like a early round sort of aggression there. But the positioning itself wasn't too bad as long as you have long covered in some sort of way. You don't want to support the. If you want to support the sky and not be in that position, though, you probably want to be like on the box here. Or you want, because she's kind of taking the close angle. Realistically, you should be the one here with the shotgun, and she should be the one here because of agents wise, right? She has like the better flash for like the reach, and you have the flash that's better close range. But you can still swap the roles here. You can still flash around this corner just about and give this person a support flash if you wanted to, and still fight with them. So that's probably where you would actually play if you were trying to like not be in this angle and still fight with the guy hookah. But yeah, it's arguably swapped. Like, you should be the one close, but it is what it is. It is what it is. You can do it at our end. Once again, we're kind of doing it like this. I would prefer you to be on like a wider angle if you do want to actually fight this. And as I mentioned, be further away from the corner, so then you actually build up your momentum first before swinging it. If you're not looking to commit, you should just have your knife out and be close to the angle like you were there. So I think you just need knife out there if you want to do that kind of stuff. Knife out, jump spot. I would also jump spot as well. I would not be, because I haven't really seen jump spot. I would just jump spot. I always jump spot long rather than this. I think it's much more, I would say accurate, but not really accurate. It's much more reliable to jump spot online rather than like, you'll see like, I remember, I can't remember what day it was. NRG versus G2. I remember a very specific shoulder peek from Som, and he could basically barely even see them on his screen. It could have been spectator bug a tiny bit, but basically he was knife out, shoulder peeking, and I realized, like, I remember thinking at that exact moment, like at the exact moment, like, you wouldn't be able to do that on the line, because they would actually see you after you thought you were there, and then you would probably just die. Like, you would be on their screen a lot longer than you realize you would be on their screen. And on land, it's more doable. Everything's a lot more responsive. But online, you'll get shot doing that kind of stuff. It also depends on a tiny bit as well, like the material that you're getting, that you're using as well. Like, this is wood, but it's also a pretty decent angle. Like, unless they're like on like this point here, they can't really wallbang you because of how long this wall is. So it's not too bad to like actually knife out peek that, but usually you want to be jump peeking it anyway. The only thing is it makes sound, but it's not that bad. Okay, your teammate's gonna just popped off there. You have a really nice sounding keyboard as well, to be fair. Keyboard sounds really nice. I'm just gonna shoot my blinds. Okay, I missed some stuff. Did we hear like... We heard nothing, you just did it off timing. Okay. I mean, it's not bad timing. Like, you like 9 seconds in, no sound long. Like, right here you can also be looking at the map because you haven't got gun out anyway. So you can be looking at the map here. So you can look that the rain is not seeing anyone, and like your teammates not really got anything main, to be fair, because they're just chilling. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, you can kind of tell the map like there is a timing to go for potentially here. Honestly, it's not bad because 9 seconds in, they could be like over here, realistically, with walking. So they can be in an angle where you can get a kill on them with the flash. So the timing's good. Whether it was accidental or not, the timing is good. But yeah, just kind of unlucky. So when it's playing anti-flash as well, Reyna's playing anti-flash. So it's pretty smart by the Reyna. Kind of pushes us off the angle. Once again, it is arguable to be jump spotting this because you can get that info before actually flashing anyway. So you don't really have to be playing off a potential timing. You could just try and get the info first. And that usually is going to be better versus most players. Like, it's only in the top elos where you can't really be giving away this play. Or like in higher relos, you can't really be giving away the fact that you're Phoenix jump spotting long, because then it's obvious what's going to come next, right? You're gonna get flashed. So maybe you can afford to do that in this elo. You probably can. But yeah, as time goes on, you would have to be playing more off timings and understanding timings rather than jump spotting for it. That's a good try. I think once you don't get this kill, you do try and run away. Mainly, the reason why you run away is because Clove has already decided to give up B. Like, this clove is very, very passive. And I think you either need to communicate to the clove that you don't want to be passive and come play with me or help me do something. Or you need to be also matching that passiveness and just kind of, yeah, like if you want to go for a play long, you go for it. But then you need to actually try and get out. And then ideally, like, maybe get one kill, leave. But it's hard to get one kill, leave on long. Because if they do get close to you, you get absolutely swarmed. And there's not really a good way to cross, like, this angle here. So usually to get that one kill, you'd probably be like looking into like this sort of angle here or like over here in transition towards elbow on someone in hookah. Or you'd be like looking like to go back sight, get a kill and then try and leave using wall or something. Like that's what you're trying to maybe do. It's kind of hard to do that in deep long. Maybe you could argue you could do it like, you would do it like on this angle here and get a kill long and then try and leave like that. That is also more plausible than what we tried to do here. I think the clove is making things harder, but I think we can cover that up with communication. And also something to bear in mind as well with communication. Obviously, if you say something to someone and they don't do it, it's fine. Like, it happens. It's not your fault. The most important thing to achieve in a game like this, in any competitive game, is like blameless gameplay. So as long as you put your best like thought process and your best like effort forward, then you're trying to achieve blameless gameplay, right? So if you're asking for things and don't get them, as long as you're asking for them and you have like the intention there, then it's blameless, right? Because you've asked for those things and there you've put the blame, or like put the blame, but you've put the I guess like the ball in their court basically, where it's up to them if they want to listen to what you've said and agree with what you've said or communicate with what you've said or like debate what you've said. And then disagree, say something else, etc., etc., right? It's up to them to make that decision, and you've kind of given it to them. So that's what you want to do in solo queue, right? You want to just like communicate the things you want, and if people don't follow through, they don't follow through. It is what it is. Ideally as well, like obviously that's not me also saying that whatever you say is true and gospel, and everyone has to follow it either. Like that's actually the opposite of what I'm saying. To be fair, it's like it is what it is. If people don't want to follow your instructions, then just leave it, right? It's up to them. There's no need to flame anyone for it either and that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying you have either. I'm just saying that that's usually how it goes with communication. Like this clove, I would have said multiple things about helping teammates, like helping me on B, right? Like, can you come and help me hookah? Come and help me, like in the one round we played hookah. Can you come and help me long and do these sort of things like X, Y, Z? Can you smoke like the end of long, etc. So like, I would have been communicating with this clove. If they listened, fair enough. If they didn't, then I wouldn't have been too bothered about it and tried to just play the best I could with what had been given to me. If that was nothing, then that was nothing, you know? If they don't give me a single piece of utility to help me, then so be it, right? It is what it is. But at least I asked for it. And that's the most important part. Went 44. Is this the enemy clove? What? What is this smoke? This smoke does absolutely nothing. If anything, I mean, it's not really. No, it just does nothing really. It might even be. It's a tiny bit worse for them, maybe, because the smoke can kind of help. Can kind of help help your team to not die in this situation. It's crazy that you went for this like peak, but let me see if I can hear things once again. I mean, I don't think he reacted to those footsteps. I think it was just really good timing. Like really, really unlucky for the clove, if anything. Yeah, it was just unlucky for the clove. I think they're complaining in all chat or something about that timing, surely. Yeah, not using a util to like peek, that is kind of scary. Considering as well, like you did that not off the footsteps. Like if you did that off the footsteps, I'd be fine with it, right? Potentially, because would I have been fine with it? I mean, they could have had gun out. The footsteps don't really change that much, so you wouldn't have known they'd knife out really. And you can tell by speed, but usually it's hard to tell that specifically, especially in that amount of time, like that amount of footsteps. So yeah, I think that was kind of lucky, if anything. If you want to do that, you just flash. You just flash first. There's really no cost to flashing first as well, to be fair, because they probably will still die there. Because the amount of time it takes them to take cover past that flash, they probably wouldn't have reacted in time anyway. They probably would have still died. They half cleared you. This is more just a mistake from the enemy team. I wouldn't say this is necessarily a good position either, because you're in like a one and done angle, and if the enemy team use like any of the 2 flashes they have available to them, or 3 flashes if Ren didn't die, in a random part of the map, if they had any of these 3 flashes they could have used, you would have just died. And not even got 1. So it is a very big mistake, if anything, from the enemy team. Also, Yoru just got his ult, so he clearly just got an orb somewhere. Or something. His orb just appeared. But he was... Wait, what? So Yoru just got an orb, right? This is ult up, right? Wait, did he use it before? No, he didn't. Did he get a kill? He got a kill there, but why would it count it so late? Did he get a kill after that? What is his ult up randomly there? The reason why I know it's randomly, by the way, is because, so, the orb, we would be able to hear the first orb, the orb next to us. I don't hear the orb. Didn't hear the orb. And the other orb, if you look deadlock on the map, the other orb is right here. So I don't know how he managed to just randomly get it ult there. How has he just randomly got his ult? What did he do to get his ult? Didn't get a kill, didn't die, didn't take an orb, didn't plant, didn't defuse. Did it just update that slowly? From the first kill of the round? From this round? From this kill? What? There's no way. Or maybe it didn't update for you in a certain... Like, why did it not update for you, maybe? Maybe someone caught a glimpse of the Yoru somewhere. Not on the map. No, that doesn't make sense either, because we would also see it on the map. For it to register. I actually don't know. I actually do not know why his ult came up on the UI and it shouldn't have done before. And it didn't do before. Like, why did it not go up on the... So I'm just complaining about the game. Like, why didn't it come up? Like, is there a bug? Like, it must have been a bug. Like, why did it come up when you killed Wingman? That's when it came up, by the way. On the exact second you killed Wingman. I actually do not know why he got his ult on the UI there. Wait, he got the orb. He must have got the orb then. Maybe there was just too much audio clutter. I think I can just about hear it actually. Maybe not. It is there somewhere. Sorry, I'm spending maybe way too much time on that. But like, my god, no. I think he must have got that orb. Judging by where the clone was, he must have just got the orb. The orb is gone. The orb is gone. Did anyone get the orb? Did you get the orb? No, you killed Clove. You didn't get the orb. The orb is there when you're there. Yeah, he got the orb. The orb is gone. No one could have got the orb because the orb didn't go off. He got the orb, and his sound was perfectly covered by the shooting and the bomb being planted or something. What the? That's just insane. Unless I'm just like deaf or something. I think it's exactly when you start shooting. Is there? There's like a tiny bit of like a orb sound. You can like just about hear it. That is crazy. That is crazy. Nice. Let me see the kill again. One more time. Yeah, that's fun. You kind of just, I mean, you kind of became a turret. You like stood still, aim, shoot, but that's fine. It's fine. Would have liked you to see, like, as soon as you saw the Yoru, just like move and aim instead of just aiming while standing still. But yeah, it was fine overall. I don't like your ult position really. Actually, I don't know. Actually, yeah, the ult position is actually fine because you don't want to ult over here because it may cause a problem with you trying to get round the box. And you can just like drop off the box on top of the box. And if you're behind the box, like on this side of the box, you have to go around the box with your ult. So yeah, this is actually quite smart. I didn't instantly twig, but yeah, this is actually smarter than what I would have done. Probably. I would have just done it next to the doorway, like some idiot. But yeah, this actually technically is a bit safer. Technically a bit safer the way you've done it. The only problem is that it makes sound. That's the only problem. So then you can't like fake where you are necessarily. That's like the only problem. But other than that, it's fun. Okay. The enemy really should have this smoked off. So you getting kills here, like getting like this angle is kind of crazy. Because usually this would be smoked and then you just flash out the smoke if you need to flash out. Like, that's what would actually happen. You shouldn't smoke. You shouldn't peek this without. You're fine. Yeah, you should wait for someone to like take the fight because they can't be holding you if they're holding someone else. Because they can't be on this angle because they'll just die to someone peeking like this, right? They'll just die. Going aggressive? Oh, you shouldn't go aggressive. Yeah, the corner's fine. The corner's fine. I wouldn't peek. That was looking. Yeah, okay, so one of the biggest things about this game is you shouldn't crouch before you've landed a bullet, usually. When you're in these types of fights. Because as soon as you crouch, you give up movement. And usually movement is king. And in this game, you can't crouch. You can't really crouch, walk, and shoot like you can in some like Counter-Strike. It's not accurate in this game, realistically. So usually you reserve crouching for when you've already landed a bullet and you can commit a spray. Crouching is also one of those things that you don't necessarily want to be doing. Like you don't want to be like holding down crouch that much overall. Like it's a tool that allows you to choose where your head is while standing still. And usually it's better to be mixing it up. You either like stay crouched at the start of an angle and then stand up afterwards, or you can like you can go around an angle like half crouching and then full crouch once you've stood still and that kind of stuff. Like there's ways to like mix up your head position, and maybe it actually work for you here. You can see the bullet going over your head. Maybe it work for you here to insta crouch. So maybe it's fine, but without landing a bullet, it's kind of risky because you don't really. There's no guarantee that your tracking is going to keep hitting the body, right? Or that you're going to keep hitting bullets, because you might just whiff completely and give them a really easy target to just kill you first bullet. But if you land a shot, then it makes it a lot better because you're slowing them, and it's a lot easier to track them, and then you can just either body shot them to death or get a headshot on the second bullet. A lot easier or something like that, right? So this looks like the end of the game. Looks like the Clover's saving. Clover just saved the last round again. Okay, interesting gameplay by the enemy Clove. All good, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna open up this, not Discord. I'm gonna open up Valorant. I'm gonna not close Chrome, but I'm gonna hide Chrome. And we will go on to the range. So there's two drills that I want you to do. Although I think the main thing that will you need to focus on is actually more to do with the process than actually what you need to focus on. And that is, I think in ranked games, what you need to do is you need to set yourself a goal. You need to set yourself a goal for like, what in this ranked game am I going to focus on? And I think the first one that I would focus on for you is crosshair placement. So I'd focus on getting your crosshair placement like good in the game, right? I always aim and get head height when you're peeking angles. And also and then I would move on to like more like very like a new thing that is also quite adjacent to it maybe. So instead of so for like 1 or 2 games you focus on crosshair placement, the next 2 games you're going to focus on like what angles do I actually like pre-aim, right? And how do I pre-aim them and that kind of stuff, right? And you can even break them down even further than like how to pre-aim, right? You can always like, you can say this game, I'm only going to peak angles when I can set myself up to go at full speed, when obviously when applicable, or I'm only gonna peak angles like with A and D, right? I'm not going to use W at all to peak these angles, like that kind of stuff, right? Just focus on those types of things and break down. You can break it down as much as you want, as much as you need. Realistically. Okay, so I don't know why I put practice on, because we don't need practice. Okay, so the drill I'm going to do, I'm going to just turn audio on. The drill we're going to do is we're going to do this drill. This drill is one that I like to show people when they aren't really like the greatest at counter-strafing, because it's a really simple one to kind of understand what you need to do when counter-strafing. I've actually misplaced this one. And you just want to go into the range and place the trip like this. And all you want to do is you want to aim at the front, like the middle of the door. And I want you to have the shooter error graph on, because I think you need to put that on anyway. I think it's a really good tool to have. So make sure you've got the shooting error graph on. And what we want to do is, ideally, we want to be firing like bursts at the door, right? I would recommend bursts. You can do one taps like this, but I've got the wrong mode on. You can guarantee you can do one taps like this, but it's not really that realistic in my opinion. The main thing is as well, you don't want to do things like this. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're past the lines when you counter strafe, right? Like this. And do bursts. You can do bursts of 2 if you want to, but generally like a more realistic fight is going to be bursts of 3. Burst of 2 is also possible. You can do full bursts, like four bullets as well if you want to. You can do things like that. That's what I want you to do. Don't worry too much as well if your counter strafing looks like this. Not that. If it looks like this, where you're kind of, you can see maybe, I can't really replicate it very easily. Wait, like that, right? Like that one. Where you get like the blue, you get the blue on the second bullet, or the third bullet, the fourth bullet. Only really care about the first bullet primarily for now. Because you can get away with like like if you want to do like this, like when you do like this, where you like kind of like halfway through the spray, you end up doing something like this, right? Where you're doing like this. You can see on the shooting error graph, my first bullet is accurate, and then after that, it's like goes to blue. Obviously, it's not ideal to do that, but don't worry too much if that is the case. You can always chip away at it, try to chip away at it, and get more practice. It also isn't necessarily a straight up bad thing either. Someone that like I really realized this with was the pro player called Hoodie. I'm not sure exactly who he plays for now. He in EU, and I remember playing a DM against him, and of course he top fragged it. But the thing that I took away from him, and the it was sort of like a realization in a lot of ways, that in a lot of his fights, all of his fights in DM were won by movement. Every single one was won by movement against me, at least. And the reason for that is because he prioritized his movement over his shooting accuracy. He obviously didn't compromise his shooting accuracy, but he didn't care if the third or fourth bullet, like after he killed me, was just hitting Narnia. Like, he did not care. He started moving right after I died. So it was all about like reacting to the kill and then moving after the kill, right? Like, he was just reacting to my death and then moving again. So make sure, like, it doesn't matter too much as long as you're reacting to the kill, right? Like, just like pretend like you're one bulleting everyone, right? Or two bulleting everyone. So the third and fourth bullet don't really matter that much. So the other drill I want to show is more to do with crosshair placement. So this one should help you as well. But as I've mentioned, you should be looking at doing these things in ranked, like focusing on these things in ranked with like crosshair placement and how like you take fights. You can even focus on like more game knowledge type things as well. Like this game, I'm going to focus on map control, etc. I'm going to focus on being the first one is a duelist, and like how I'm going to take space on the site and all this kind of stuff, right? You can choose that kind of stuff. Obviously, I wouldn't like focus on that like too quickly. Like, I wouldn't like choose really complicated things instantly. And if you do, excuse me, if you do try complicated things, break them down. Break them down to like, not only am I going to like think about, so instead of thinking about how will I attack this game, I'm going to focus on my attacking of sites only. Think about, I'm going to focus on attacking B site this round, or like this game. I'm going to focus on like how I actually like approach that, or something like that, right? The idea is that ranked is like an improvement ground. It's the place where you go to practice, and obviously you will get the rank from practice there as well. from winning it there as well. So it's all about practicing and becoming a better player from that practice, and then it should show in the rank rather than trying to get rank first and then trying to be a good player because you're that rank, right? It's like the opposite. So what this is, I'm gonna let this guy kill me eventually. What this drill is essentially you want to pick an angle. So I'm gonna pick the angle over here, and I'm going to swing this angle like this, and then if I see someone like this, I'm going to do my counter strafes like this, like that we've talked about, like this, right? And then I was hoping to die. So when there's like a new angle, so I've got this angle. When there's like a new angle, so the new angle would be like this one over here. I'm going to focus and swing that one, and then I'm going to focus on that one. I got that kill. I'm going to keep focusing on it, and then if there's a new angle, I've got another kill. Sorry, another kill, another fight. If there's another angle, so I'm going to focus on this angle. If there's another angle to swing, I'm going to swing it now. Swing. There's a fight. I can fight. I missed the fight, whatever. It is what it is, happens. I'm just going to keep doing that, basically. You're going to keep focusing on the angle, so I'm going to focus on this angle like this, making sure I'm not in the wall, I'm outside the wall. And I'm going to focus on this angle, there's a fight. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Once again, same thing. Focus on the angle like this. I can, like, as you can see, I'm like scanning the angle. Pretend that didn't happen. Scan the angle. There's another angle, right? I don't really know Corrode as well as I should probably know it. There's another angle here, so I'm going to swing that angle. And then I'm going to do that again. There's another angle, swing the angle, another angle. I'm focused on that angle. I got a fight. I died. Unlucky. Yeah, so that's kind of what it's going to be for the DM. It's all about focusing on crosshair placement. So you want the crosshair placement to be outside of the wall usually. You want to be scanning the angles, and you want to be aiming at head height. That's what this all is for, right? And obviously, if you get a map that you feel pretty comfortable on doing that with, you can just dodge the DM and play another DM for a map that you didn't want to do, that you want to do instead. Basically, you can just try and find a map that you want to practice this on, and that's it really. And that's basically what you want to be doing there. So yeah, that's it for the coaching session. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked about here or anything about Valorant in general, just DM me. That's fine, or you can put it in general on Discord as well. In Discord anywhere, general, Valorant general, whatever you want to do. You can put it there as well. So yeah, that's it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna. I think I might really quickly. Oh, I don't wonder. I had so many things open, and I've got like. Oh, what's this group? Oh, that's my chat. Okay. Yeah. So that's it for the stream on YouTube. I'm going to probably play a Valorant game on Twitch. So yeah. YouTube, you can switch over to Twitch if you want to. The reason for that is because I like to keep these live VODs as coaching VODs only. So no solo queuing in them or anything. Just so that it's easier for the students to kind of get a hold of the not like have all these random ass like things going on afterwards with the with me playing solo queuing things. It's just only the coaching VOD. I also like to do it for my personal like stopping recording, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just a better archive that way. But yeah, that's like the way I like to do it anyway. So yeah, so I'll say bye to YouTube, and I'll be back for YouTube on Saturday maybe, or it might be next week sometime. But we'll see. Twitch, I might stream again tomorrow. We'll see. I might play I do want to try and play more solo queue, because I haven't played that much. I really need to play more, as much as it pains me. But yeah, okay. I'll be back sometime soon for another coaching session. So yeah. But wait.